by Gary Marr of Tremis and Mike Fiore of BulletN.net and 0 Point Training. What we're going to be talking about today is a martial movie. The idea with this is there's a lot of really good movies out there, and if you actually look at the stuff in the movies, there's actually some important lessons within them. So I had done an episode with K-Love Tactical Response talking about 28 days later. I am waiting on the recordings to get back to me so I can actually get them posted because they didn't get them posted. But this is going to be the first posted one, and we're going to be talking about the movie Sicario. For those of you who have not seen the movie Sicario yet, you are wrong, and you need to watch it. Probably watch it before watching this, unless you're watching the live stream. Then you need to fucking stay here so we get your numbers. Okay. In fact, open up another window and use your wife's account. Like, do anything you can to push us in the algorithm. Okay.
That would be appreciated.
But for you guys, like, how long ago did you first see the movie?
Oh,
I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, what year did it come out? I don't even know.
15, 16,
2015?
2015, something like that.
2015.
Yeah, I saw it in the theaters as well.
I saw it. It was me, Jay Gibson, Dave Biggers, Tim Morris, and Calvin Lim in the theater. So I'm sure my Virgin Sicario experience probably tops everybody else's in the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good. I don't think you could really top that, honestly.
We drove up to Paris, Tennessee, and we watched it. And then I posted about it while we were there, like updated on Facebook or Instagram or something. And then I got a text message from Yeager about 4 seconds later that said, "Hey, motherfucker, I watch movies too." And I was like, I didn't put this together.
That's funny. I remember you telling me that story. I don't think I remember it being Sicario though.
It was. So I think of the movie fondly.
I think I saw it probably with my wife in the theaters, and she probably was bored to tears.
Because I don't know.
There was a strong independent woman.
No, yeah. I don't. You say that, but then again, like, my wife actually really liked it. I've been watching a lot of movies with her lately, and movies that she rejected watching for quite a while. She's now coming around to and watching them with me, and she's really liking a lot of them. This one in particular, she was very into the whole time. She wasn't like, "Oh man, I love that movie." But she was like, "Oh fuck, what's gonna happen next?" And that part was crazy,
I think my wife today said, "Hey, are you guys going to review that movie Stupido or Stupido?" And I was like,
So what we're gonna be talking about is martial lessons from the movie. Now, I just made bullet points as I was watching it, and I was like, "That's a good thing to talk about." So, does anyone have any bullet points from the very early in the movie?
Well, why don't we? Well, because I have mine linear as well, because I basically took notes as I was going through. And full disclosure, I actually did not finish watching it in the past week. I've seen it before, obviously, but
sure.
I got up to the point. It's like the climax. I'm not revealing anything to anybody, but like the scene where Alejandro goes to confront the cartel boss in his home. I got up to that, and then the live stream was starting. I'm like, "Oh, damn!"
You're like, my favorite part.
No, not even close. Favorite part,
really good part. Oh,
yeah, it is.
I mean, because why don't we start? Are there memorable things from the movie that stick out to you? Because there's one scene that is by far, without a doubt, the one that
we can hit that, because I think that gives good motivation for people to watch it anyways if they haven't seen it. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. So with 100%, the border crossing scene is bar none. I mean, maybe not bar none, but some of the best tactical filmmaking that I've ever seen. Like in terms of decision making, observances, like tactics, getting in and out of cars, like, positioning of people in their border cross, like, when they get out of their car, we're getting out of our car. Like that whole scene, super awesome. I love that scene.
Mm-hmm. And funny part with that too is like if people fuck, I'll just talk like you have seen it. If you haven't, you're wrong anyways.
Yeah, I mean, who's watching this if they haven't seen the movie?
And fucking you haven't seen it by now, fuck them.
So the chick that's there, like one thing I'm thinking about now that I wasn't so much thinking about when I was watching it was, she is out of her element being with those guys, right? Because she's with like the Black Ops guys, and so they are a lot faster to make moves. And they're much more proactive than she is. Even Alejandro has to go like, take out your service weapon. She's like, put a fucking gun in your hand right now. And the note I had for that scene, the
interesting thing, and like I know I think we're given the broad strokes up first, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like character wise, Kate is super interesting as like a movie item, like a movie mechanic, if you will, because she is us. Like that, like in the filmmaking world, she represents the viewer. She's there to get stuff explained to her. She's there to be brought along the journey. She's also the moral compass of this movie, which is interesting as well, because it's constantly like confronting her moral compass or what her expectation of a moral compass should be. So I like, she's annoying, but in a way it's because we're annoying. Like we're like normal people before they're exposed to reality are like, oblivious to what like the real world is like. So that's her in this movie. Like
I have that as a note, even that that her whole purpose is to prevent the actors from having to break the fourth wall and say, you out there in the seats, this is why we're doing this. Because they wouldn't have those conversations amongst themselves. They have SOPs that they've trained for years, so they wouldn't need to talk about, they wouldn't have their guns up and go, what are our rules of engagement, Bill?
Yeah.
That all been briefed, sometime during the mission planning phases. So, but they say those kind of things to her so that we know. And I kept having to like remember that because my notes were very harsh concerning her character.
Yeah.
So the half my notes got just fucking wiped away. Thanks, Mike.
Sorry. But it's like one of those important things to know about this, like how they're telling the story, because like I could pick apart Kate in this whole thing, but also recognizing that she's me. Like, like maybe at some point in my journey, like if we're going to talk about tactics or mindset or, all these things that we've learned along the way, things like the lessons that we can pull from this movie, before we learned all those, like that was us, right? Like we're the ones that's like, why would they do such a thing? Why would they be assaulting a cartel? Like that's not what we do. Well, the whole moral of the movie, which we'll get to at some point, is about why, like that's the fun part of like what you get from this and her journey. Like you're the viewer and you get to experience the whole thing.
And then as far as like, so that is, I agree. That's like the best scene. That's my favorite scene. It's like you're on edge watching it, especially the first time.
Yeah.
My note for that was hypervigilance and alertness pays off. And also I'd like to quote something I heard Andy Sanford say. And it is, do you know what happens to paranoid people? Nothing. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty good point, and I wanted to type that originally for this, but I was like, they weren't so much paranoid. They're like, this is where it's most likely going to happen. So they're like expecting it, and they were just very alert and they were proactive when they saw the guys. Then wait for the guys to get out and point guns at them. They're like, fuck that, let's get out. We're going to position ourselves so they have no advantage over us.
Oh yeah, like that was it. I mean, from the amount that you can pull tactically from a movie, because movies aren't real, they don't represent reality. You know, like
they represent reality, and that's what kind of where I think it's appropriate to do like these kinds of videos on the movies, is because like there were a lot of big brains that went into making the movie, you know. So in a sense, yeah, it's not real, but it's a realistic scenario.
Yeah. And I think that particular, like if we're diving into that scene, that particular one does it well, because they don't allow the scene to progress, or the bad guys to progress to a point where they're doing things that are stupid. They catch them off guard, like, or the scene is about understanding and being vigilant about watching your surroundings, so that basically you take initiative. Right. And that's what, like, the scene, it's basically like, oh, well, you get rewarded if you act aggressively and you take the initiative on the enemy, instead of letting, like, always reacting, which again is probably a metaphor for the whole movie, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. Now, some of my notes that I have going on this too aren't so much like, you know, this is how you kill bad guys type notes, but it's also about things that were written into the movie of them kind of driving her and getting her to do stuff for them. So one of my first note was using tragedy. And the thing is that they told her is, if you don't go, every house will be rigged with explosives, you know, like that one.
Oh yeah.
And so that was kind of, they used her emotions. They know that she wants to make a difference. She's trying to do the right thing. And so in order to get her to go along with the Secret Squirrel people and make everything they do legit on paper, they use that tragedy. So I think that's also something that like everyone should keep in mind, is that we're easily manipulated by tragedy. And you may think you're getting pushed into doing something good when really you're not. And I'll go ahead and say the thing that popped into my mind with that, and that's 9/11. I think that was hugely driven towards pushing all Americans to do a bunch of shit.
I mean, it certainly, you know, it turned, I think in its instant, you know, right directly following, man, were we united. But then like that, it was so like capitalized on over the years, like 18 years of, hey, let's just continue this global war on terror, where it's like, yeah, well, we're not going to let all that stuff go to waste. We're just going to keep rolling that train, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's probably a whole nother 2-hour podcast of we could talk about how all that progresses. But you're absolutely right with the, like, it's the movie introduces the idea of tragedy, and holy cow, like do they start off with like that whole house scene where it's like, what is going on?
So before we get into the details of those scenes, just I want to get my say in on her being manipulated through tragedy. That is obviously the Taylor Sheridan's I have a story I want to tell. The internal struggle, blah, blah, whatever, you know, makes women watch movies. Because them finding an FBI agent that would just sign off on anything wouldn't be as difficult. Like when they talked to her, they'd have went, nope, not her, next.
Yeah.
There is someone somewhere who's like, look, I want to do the right thing. Whatever I have to do to make good win, I'm in. And her character always whined about, well, I want evil to have a fair chance before we win. You know, so many times after the tunnels, the very final scene when she talks to Alejandro, she's still contemplating helping evil win because that would be more fair.
Right.
Like both teams get a possession before we can call the game. And they would have just found somebody else who said, oh yeah, I'm totally in.
Yeah.
Like that, and I also think that's what these movies are for. Like I refer to this genre as oh man, Black Ops and CIA and SF guys are so cool, like that's what it's pure propaganda to me. And I feel like that's what these are driven towards. Like, dude, I don't care. Fucking this shit's so cool. I can't wait to sign off on it.
Yeah.
There definitely are people like that.
Yeah. If you another great movie in that, what was the exact wording? CIA guys and Black Ops guys are so cool. Oh man, whatever that
support everything Black Ops the government does. It's so awesome.
Zero Dark 30 is another one that falls into that category of like, this is a cool movie. Like, it's a fun one to watch.
I haven't watched it because I was so burnt out and veteran hating at the time that I couldn't do it. But like I've heard so many good things about the movie. I'm like, all right. Like I've watched the scene where they go into the building on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, some of that actually, that's probably from our standpoint, some of the cheesiest parts of that movie.
Yeah.
Like the tactics aren't necessary. Like some of it's good, but then you see some of the behind the scenes stuff is like, that's a little odd. And like knowing that they were wearing night vision goggles that were just literally green lights shining into their eyes, like hearing the behind the scenes. So you realize that they can't see anything when they're walking around. But anyway, yeah, so that movie's good. But man, I just love the setup of this movie of, hey, let's really, I mean, how much more poignant can it be nowadays with the craziness? Like, the fact that, Mexico is basically on fire. It's still being ravaged like daily by cartels and violence. And we start off this movie is 10 years ago. It's almost like the moral of like, well, none of this changes. Like it's, and for how long before that was cartels still the reigning champion in terms of like terrorism, like true terrorism of like, oh, I'm gonna make people comply with my power through absolute fear. Like they've been doing that. I mean, they're the reigning champs. I at least in our hemisphere.
Yeah, I have a buddy that went down to the border. I don't know if you guys remember, there was like a sheriff down there that was like, the government's not doing anything. And so then people volunteered to go down and help out at the border. And he was just telling me about like he didn't get into any violence there, but he would see like the aftermath of where the coyotes were bringing people through. And it was like horrible things were happening to people there. Like, he could see the evidence laying right there, like under the bridge and shit. Like and so that was a big thing that I thought about when I saw the opening scene, and then they saw like the bodies behind the wall, and I was like, yeah, like that's totally plausible. Like that to me wasn't outside of reality at all.
Except I have one very important question, and I cannot answer this. How fucking thick were the walls in that house? Because like, isn't a standard wall thickness like a 2x4?
Yeah. So that would be 3.5 inches.
How are they fitting bodies in 3.5 inches worth of space?
They're Mexican cartel. Okay. So the chances are the guys living there may have even built the house. I'm not even being racist right now, but like, if you do think about it like that, like, hey, build this house, frame it with bigger ones. We need a really strong frame. Like, man, still plausible.
Double thickness walls.
Yeah.
That was literally the only thing in that first part. Well, not the only thing. Like, there was stuff that stuck out to me, like tactically and like whatever. But like when it came time for them showing bodies and walls, and they like pull the drywall down, and there's like a whole skull, like not like a human head in there. I'm like, human head is at least like 11 inches.
Well, we only saw the front of the head.
True, they could have been sliced in half. I get, like, I get that there's ways that it could happen, like, but it was just like, and there's like 60 of them. Holy cow! Like,
so I remember, and I have this as a note only because when I watched it in 2015 with the guys, right before the fucking bomb went off, they're looking and pulling bodies, all that shit, and they go into what is it, the shed, and they lift up the trap door and boom, fucking blows everything to fuck. And I remember going, damn, you thought they would have brought a dog. Now, as I watched it last week, 4 seconds before that bomb goes off, right outside of the shed, they have a dog sniffing boxes on the ground. And I went, man, that's a shitty dog. There was enough explosive in there to like take out a neighborhood, and the dog couldn't tell from a few feet away.
Well, that could be a good note too, because like the one of the experiences for dogs for myself, we had a dog in Afghanistan, and one of the guys who had deployed to Afghanistan before us, he hated dogs because he was like, they become pets and they're fucking worthless. They don't do their job. So he didn't even want us having a dog because he was like, that's just going to tie up people and it's not going to do its fucking job. Now, I've been taking a lot of ownership on training my dogs, and especially my new one, and gotten a good relationship with him. I'm not a good dog trainer or anything like that, but I've been working at it, watching a lot of content on it. And there's a channel that if you want to learn that stuff, you should watch this channel, American Standard Dog Training. That's something he talks about because he was a police canine trainer. And he talks about how there are a lot of shitty service dogs. He said, especially military side, they're usually worse than police because they just don't have the same standard of training. But, it may have, like, that could be realistic too. A shitty dog because a motherfucker's not doing his job training the dog, right?
Yeah.
And then people fucking die because of that. So, note on that. Two, think about, oh yeah, they got a dog. Mm-hmm. Are you going to bet your life on that dog doing the job it's supposed to? And everyone involved with that dog has done things properly to give you your best chance. But that's a great point, Gary.
The only reason it even caught my attention was I remember thinking 10 years ago, oh, they should have brought a dog. And when I rewatched it to make my notes, I was like, oh. And then boom, like fuck, the dog got blown up too.
I know, actually, if I remember correctly, in true movie fashion, I think the bomb goes off and in the smoke you see the dog run by. I think. I could be wrong.
I tripped it.
Yeah, there may be a Mandela effect going on in my brain right now. Like I want to believe that happened, but I think that was like a boom, and then like because you saw the guy with the dog, and then you hear like the dog collar in the smoke, and then you see the dog run through, but no handler.
If Andrew were a better live stream producer, he'd have had clips that we'd have brought up. See, it's all your fault.
Yeah. If only there were fucking other dudes involved with this that also owned computers for the points that they're making.
Well, I think this is very last minute for me. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, along the same vein of like that first scene and talking about like how there's been cartel violence for the longest time. My next point came from the scene where they go to Mexico. They're showing Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's where they show the son with the dad, who's a Mexican cop, dirty Mexican cop, dirty cop. That probably sounded bad. But dirty cop is what I meant, I promise. But like it, and they show kids playing soccer, like with gunfights going on right down the street. And that is normalized violence, and people grow up around it. And it's like, just like we've had many students who are like, fucking the gun's scary because I've never been around a gun, right? Like a much higher level of that is, oh yeah, like there's dead guys hanging from the bridge because that's where they go when the cartel's hanging them and cut their heads off and shit.
It was a slow week this week. There's only 2.
Yeah, and it's I remember like my first firefight, a dude just casually walked his donkey below us, and we were shooting over him, and it was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm from here, and fucking shut up. It didn't affect him at all. And then I think about too, I've done some videos, some posts where I'm talking about how lots of dudes won't carry their fucking gun, yet I can show you videos of kids in Chicago pulling guns out of their backpacks in school because it's just a part of life for them, right? So the normalized violence, one thing I think about with that too is like when our country completes the Tiddler cycle, for your grandchildren, violence will be very normalized. And it's going to be very different from that for them. Just like, you know, thinking about like the kids who were in Stalingrad, right? Just not, yeah, like, yeah, well, today was a good day. There weren't fucking bombing raids, you know? So I don't know. Note I had on that. And
There
one
was a
thing,
good quote when they were in Mexico. Alejandro tells Kate, he said to watch out for the police because they're not always good guys.
mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, there's a fucking valuable life lesson that probably did not resonate well with an American audience. I think because there's two types of folks in the American audience. The thin blue line, saviors, those are the paladins with the shields and the shining armor, or the, you know, why the police always got a thing for me. Like there is nobody that says, hey, there's some good ones and but they're not always good guys. Like that's not a very American attitude towards the police. Interestingly enough, the very next moment it pans to them driving and there are Mexican cops standing on the outside the police station where they picked that guy up, and they're all wearing fucking balaclavas. And I was like, see, they're wearing masks. Good guys don't wear masks.
Yep. It's and to go back to something that we mentioned before, that I'm sure we'll reference it a few times, that the shootout scene, like the one in when they're crossing the border.
Yep.
The guy that tries to schwack Kate, or no, I don't know if he's aiming at Kate or if he's aiming at somebody else in that in the car.
The one she sees in the mirror.
The one she sees in the mirror is a cop.
Yep.
Is a Mexican cop wearing a mask.
Wearing a mask.
Yep. I had to stop it and go back to it because I'm like, wait a second, was that a badge? Because I thought for a second, like, did they try to slyly like get in there that she like shot a good guy? Because like there's a bunch of people around the cars, everybody's got guns and armor and stuff, and the one guy that gets close enough that's trying to kill somebody is wearing tactical armor and is wearing a badge. And I'm like, whoa, oh wow. Because immediately I then thought, where's his backup? Because like you're not going to send one guy. Like he's got a partner somewhere, and none of the other dudes in the cars looked like that guy, but that was
that was also, I think, for us. You know, we had one instance where we had to warn her that the cops aren't always good guys. Then we needed something to show her that the cops aren't always the good guys.
Oh yeah.
So that it could, for the viewer, we could see, all right, the fact that they're a cop does not mean we can just check them off on the correct side of the you know, they could be a bad guy. Tactically, I'm like, well, why is that dude by himself? Did they have all these CIA agents and one Mexican cop following them in the convoy?
Right.
And I was like, they just need a cop to prove for the rest of the movie that you can't trust the police.
Right. And you sometimes have to just come back around to, that's the mechanism that they're using as the filmmaking technique. Right.
Yeah.
But how cool is it though? I mean, this is one of the things that, like, there are certain scenes in this movie where I'm like, that's freaking cool. They're like, you know, in I think it's a 5-car move going south across the border into which Mexican city is it that they're going into?
Juarez.
They're doing a 5-car move into Juarez, high speed, crossing the border. Everything's cleared out of the way. And like, as soon as they don't even slow down, and then all of a sudden they get joined by like 16 armed technicals, like dudes with belt feds hanging on the backs of pickup trucks as they're rolling through Juarez. I'm like, I mean, it's nice to have friends, you know, like that. If you're going to roll into Juarez heavy, that's how I would want to do it. Although who knows if that's even remotely true. Like, do the cops, do the federales in Mexico actually roll around in technicals? I can't believe they do.
I didn't see
I'm
it in
sure there are
Tijuana.
some.
I've never been to Juarez.
I'm sure there are some. I would say though there's definitely reasons for a good guy to wear a mask, and I can rationalize a good guy cop in Mexico wearing a mask if he's like, if people know who I am, they have access to my family, and that's probably a pretty easy way to turn a good cop into a bad cop too. You know,
True.
it's like
I frame the mask thing with a completely American point of view.
sure.
In the United States, I mean, people cover their face for protective reasons. You know, like, hey, I'm going to go do some grinding, and I have to wear a face shield, or oxyacetylene cutting, and I wear a darkened green face shield, or for some force. You know, we cover our faces to protect it from damage. But an actual mask that just obscures someone's looks. Here in the US, it's only done because people are going to do something they're ashamed of.
100%. Like right now, ICE agents wearing masks. Like that.
They are ashamed of what they're doing.
Yeah, because you cannot tell me with a straight face, or they cannot tell me with a straight face, that they're afraid of being identified by the public, because they pretty much view that public as being less than. Like, it is not a threat to them. So they view it not, they hide their face, not for the same reason that you would in a Juarez or somewhere else, where it's like, no, I need to hide my face from power. Here, they're hiding their face from people, public, like the light of day. Like, it's a different thing. It's not, yeah, okay, tactically, sure, I'm hiding my identity so that someone can't identify me, but you should be identified here. You should have to answer for your actions, because we live in a society that, yeah, if those people went and you know, knocked down your door and hurt you, they get held responsible for it. We don't live in Mexico where, oh yeah, that's just what people do. Like, that's the way of the world, and justice in Mexico is like, oh yeah, they'll just knock down your door, kill your whole family, throw your kid in a vat of acid. No, like, here, that doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And nobody can convince me that, like, oh yeah, I'm afraid for my whole family because I'm doing ICE agent stuff. No, sorry. That's not real.
So I'm not a supporter of ICE. Everyone knows that because I've done videos on that. But I can still rationalize good guys in America wearing masks. It's not so much because like they would be ashamed of a thing, but it is the factor of like, you know, I do want to remain anonymous, and I do want, like, think about it like this. Laws don't determine
that you can't put your face to, you know it's wrong. That's how I view it.
I wouldn't say
and
wrong.
as a potential juror, if you're wearing a mask, you're guilty. I don't care if it's a bunch of fucking nuns praying and they're all wearing a COVID mask. If a guy walks in and mows them down, that's justified homicide. He was defending himself from them.
So
that is my stance as a juror. I will never convict someone who was did anything to a masked person.
Okay, so I don't want to argue masks a whole lot. I'm just saying I can, in my brain, rationalize some reasons why a good guy would wear a mask. And my simple part on it is laws don't make things good.
Yeah, I think we could probably all agree on the last part.
Yeah.
Like, but laws and masks, probably not. So here's my fascination with this particular topic, because we as Americans, we tend to have black and white views on things. And to your point before, Gary, like there's very little room sometimes in the middle, right? To bring it back around to the movie, I think that's one of the best things about this movie, because it obviously confronts the American ideal of there is right and there is wrong. And this movie plays very much in the, like, oh no, we're gonna play in a bunch of gray throughout this whole thing. Like the masks, you know, okay, well, we can take a stance of like they're either good or they're bad, like they're either justified or not justified. In reality, you know, I bet you there, like to your point, Andrew, there's probably a time, an instance where it's okay to do it, but in a generalized way, like
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. Normally bad guys wear them. I totally agree with that. That's for a generalization, that's correct. But like also, if a dude threw on a ski mask to walk into Denny's to stab the dude who molested his kid 11 times in the neck and then run out, we wouldn't say he was a bad guy.
I don't know. I'd say
We'd say it's illegal, sure.
He might be a bad guy for good reasons.
Well, if you're going to
this is where I say on it all day. I'm just saying. I can, in my brain, immediately justify reasons why a good guy would wear a mask in America or anywhere. I think a mask is something we should all own.
Well, I'm not saying I don't own one.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
I'm saying if I put it on, it's because I'm worried about being identified for the Nuremberg trial.
Well, I would go deeper on that one too, but I want to move on away from masks.
You've done things that are against humanity, and I don't want to go to court for that. I will wear a mask. I know what I'm doing before I put the mask on. It is things I would not put my face to. I will say this: you can start a bunch of death camps in all across Europe, and those people weren't afraid to show their face. So, I mean, I don't know what other folks think they're doing that's fucking as war crime level as the Nazis did, but they weren't afraid to put their face behind their actions. And if you are, your action is not, you don't feel your action is moral.
Well, that would also, this is where it's like I said, I don't believe that laws make a thing good. I know you guys don't agree with that either, but I also don't believe we live in a moral society anyways. So that's where I'm like, I can come up with a lot of things where I'm just like, yeah, a good guy could wear a mask. And like you said, you have a mask. And I don't necessarily think that means for bad guy reasons,
Oh, it's all for bad guy reasons.
I think if we were to have a more moral discussion on it, that would not necessarily be the conclusion.
Well, I think we certainly have gotten to the point where it's like there are no absolutes. Like there is like nuance, and there is everyone's favorite answer for everything. It depends, right? Like
Rule 4.
Yes. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting moral dilemma.
I will agree that if I see a dude wearing a mask, I'm like, he's probably a fucking bad guy. I can totally agree with that. Why are those two dudes wearing masks and really thick jackets walking into this California bank?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a bad guy. If I were to, have to bet on it, probably a fucking bad guy. Now, another note from the border crossing, and I think it's
the way in or the way out, because there's stuff that happens in between.
Way out.
On the way out. Okay.
Line in the sand. Because they were like, if they move, you move.
Yep.
Right? So they weren't like, if they point their guns at you, if they fire a shot, they went, if they move, you move. And so right when they were like, he's got a gun in his hand, all right, everyone get out. And then that gave them the advantage. And I think line in the sand, especially like, because we've all taken the fight at tactical response, and I haven't done Adeptus pistol with Tremis, but like classes like that, line in the sand is a huge fucking lesson that people learn. And I was like, man, that like after taking that class, it made shit a lot more clear for me. Mm-hmm. And I would say too, for anyone trying to grasp what does line in the sand mean, a simple one is like, yeah, you don't let your hands get bound, or you don't get put in the next room, right? There's like a certain line where it's like you have to, fight or flee or something. You have to do something, but you can't keep going along with what's happening. Like they saw a gun in their hand, they weren't going to wait for those guys to get out of the car. They weren't going to wait for anything beyond that. They're like, now, this is the line.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they were able to win that fight. But I think that's a hugely important thing for people to grasp is a line in the sand. And one of the things that really helped me with it to get more clear on it is just thinking about who are my priorities and what consequences am I willing to face for those priorities and below. So what level of consequence for what level of priority? And if you can sort that out, then the line in the sand, I believe, becomes a lot more clear.
I agree.
Yeah, I look at it a little more fluidly in the sense that, you know, the first time you're introduced to the idea of a line in the sand, it's an absolute, right? Like in this situation, I'm never going to go beyond this point. This means if I, you know, it's time to go, right? I think the more you play in that space, and I'm certainly not anybody with experience, you know, hanging out in dangerous situations, but I can imagine that becoming something that if you're working with a team, like in that situation where they're like, their line in the sand in any given day might be different.
Mm-hmm.
But in that instance, they're able to decide, hey, this is where we're not letting them go any further. Like, right.
Well, one of the things I think there too is, you know, there's always a curveball that Murphy's Law says something you didn't plan will happen, et cetera, et cetera. But if you have a well-defined, I am not letting them move me anywhere. If I'm being moved, we're fighting. If for some reason something changes that you go, oh, I'm going to let them move me because they're going to walk me past a door that I know I can escape from.
Right.
Yeah, but your conscious line in the sand said, I'm going to, on purpose now, violate what I had said earlier because I have additional information, not the oblivious, well, I don't know, I'll just pick a line in the sand when I see it and then go, oh, my line was way back there. And that's when I should have done it.
Yeah.
So like if you're consciously violating it for whatever advantage you feel, the fact that you have it is the important part, and then that you can adjust on it. You know, it's just like anything else that you have a rule of I'm not going to do this. But if whatever that thing is, if I'm not going to muzzle Mike until, you know, the bad guys got a gun to Mike's head and using him as a shield. Okay, I'm going to have to muzzle Mike to put my sights on that guy's face.
Right.
I'm consciously going to violate my line, which was don't muzzle Mike. Maybe not a line he shares with me.
Maybe. He's like, dude, I love muzzling Gary.
It is
too. It's okay. I do it all the time.
Of having that predetermined line, and then if you're going to violate it, that it be a conscious thing. That, you know, the little voices say, hey, dude, we're going to do that thing we said we're not going to do because I think it'll be better right now. I mean, right or wrong. The idea is if you're going to violate it, it should be conscious.
Now I've got to both your points. A paraphrased secondhand, I believe, quote. Because I was like talking with a dude about it, and he was like, Sonny said this, and then Sonny was like, no, that's wrong. And then he said something else that basically in my brain and another guy's brain was like, that's the same thing. Anyways, it was paraphrased secondhand quote is, your line in the sand depends on your time in the sandbox. Which I think that's the way that quote should be. I think that makes a lot of sense, you know, because, you know, someone's line in the sand could be totally different based on their skill set, their abilities, and of course, their experience with scenarios like that, you know. But I think it's a super important thing that people should consider, because it's like, you know, a lot of the training people see is shoot gun good. And, you know, a thing I've been saying is why you shoot your gun is way more important than how you shoot your gun.
I can't argue any of that.
Sure. Yeah.
Now, moving past the border scene,
Why? We should just talk only about the border crossing scene. No.
So after that,
Oh,
because they had taken the important bad guy out of
Right.
Juarez, right, and brought him to America. And then there was huge gunfights going on in Juarez, and they said that's what happens when you cut the head off a chicken. And it was they were trying to fight for control. Was at least what I got out of it. Is the different gang members are trying to gain control over that area.
Yeah.
And so that was what the whole point, like Josh Brolin was supposed to be doing, is he's trying to stir shit up.
Yeah, that's one of my big. I have it actually. I have a note and it highlighted because, like that first act is okay. We're introduced. They're brought into Mexico. They bring the VIP or HVT, whatever you want to call it, back out of Mexico to the US, right? So then they have the interrogation scene. They're talking about stuff, and like that scene where Kate's losing her shit outside, and for the fourth out of 15 times in that movie, she's expressing the moral compass of what the audience or what their conflict should be, right? She's like, why are we doing this? What do we do? What's going on? Like, she's so confused about the whole thing. And like, this was like one of my favorite things in there because like it's the central purpose of everything that they're doing explained in one succinct scene. And I think the quote was, so her being there is you're giving us the opportunity to shake the tree and create chaos. That's what this is. And like, to me, all this, I was like, oh, like, yeah, that's the tactic, right? And so if the cartel is insurgency, this whole thing is a counterinsurgency operation. That's the whole purpose of what they're trying to achieve. So I guess the question that I had for you guys, because for me, I felt very strongly about it, is like, what are your thoughts on the offensive strategy of affecting change versus the reactive strategy?
Well, their tactic, there was more to that than just the idea to create chaos. They wanted the chaos so that they would bring that dude back from the US. The cartel would call him back to come straighten everything out,
to give them the opportunity to do other stuff.
Well, they wanted the boss, and the only guy that talked to the boss was the dude in the US. They said, we need to get that guy called back to Mexico, and then we'll follow him wherever he goes. That's how we find his boss. So the chaos was just the vehicle to get somebody to show their face so they can follow him. And that's, like a couple layers deep of what we're trying to get, which is some could view as risky. Like, it's a lot of steps to happen. Like, we're going to remove a guy and hope it causes chaos. We hope the chaos gets so bad that, Jimmy Joe Bob comes in, gets called back to come handle it, and he's got to go talk to Mr. Smith. And when we follow Jimmy Joe Bob, we'll find Mr. Smith.
Sure.
Then we can cut the head off of the Hydra or whatever. That's a terrible analogy because then another one grows back. But maybe it's a very apt analogy.
Fitting for cartel stuff.
So that part does make it seem risky, and you could almost excuse Kate for going, wait, we're going to do this thing and hope the ripple leads us to where we want it to go, and being a little like, timeout. This isn't, why are we doing this? This is never going to work. She didn't say it was never going to work. She said, oh, you can't just, score on evil. You got to give evil a chance to score first, or whatever her fucking, all the feds in the fucking movie were all about making sure evil has a chance, an equal opportunity. But I could almost understand, her being incredulous to the fact that this is your fucking plan for finding the guy.
Yeah.
That I could almost be like, all right, I too would be like, listen, but I'd be saying things like, this is never going to work. At least we get to have fun along the way.
Well, I think to your point, and this is my favorite part about, or the unsaid thing about, is it Matt Granger? Is that Josh Brolin's character name?
I can't remember.
Matt Graver. So like, this is what I love about his character, because he embodies the freaking cool guy, like, you know, roll with the punches, like everything. Like, we have an answer for everything. There is no unknown. Like, we just roll with it, right? I think the interesting thing about that is it's presented in such a way that's like, hey, we're shaking the tree of chaos here. This is what our intent is. But if something else happens, groovy. We'll just roll with that too. And I'm like, that's my favorite part. Like, and that's why I love seeing the mindset and the insight into guys that live that life, because they're so comfortable with like improvisation and the idea of affecting change in a certain way that it's like, well, man, if this other thing happens, that's cool too. Like, as long as they make mistakes, that's what we're looking to make happen. And it's like, oh man, like I'm like, I don't know if this is how the world really works and how the U.S. government actually affects change in cartel stuff. But I'm like, that they should probably do that. Like,
man, this makes me want to rewatch A Clear and Present Danger now, because I'm like, I think it was somewhat along the same vein, a little bit, not quite the same, but somewhat.
Just to prove you that I'm old, I also saw that in the theaters.
Is that the one with Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Yep. And William Dafoe.
Ryan? Yeah. Is that a Jack Ryan movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. William Dafoe, I believe, is Jack Ryan. Or no, Harrison Ford, Jack Ryan. William Dafoe is what the fuck is that guy's name?
Elias? No, or is that his name in Platoon?
That's Platoon.
Wrong movie. He's always Elias. Green Goblin / Elias.
Gay guy who loves classical music.
Oh, is that which movie was he in that?
Boondock Saints.
Oh, right. Yeah.
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 So, but your original question was, do we like the idea of proactively doing stuff instead of reactively doing stuff? Basically, right?
Yeah, at its core, yeah.
I think that's the best way to do stuff. It's, you know, it's also like kind of, I've stopped saying, you know, like, I don't like the phrase defensive shooting anymore, because it's like, if you're in a gunfight, like, stop being defensive, make him react to you. You know, because like, you know, like, how is it going force on force if you're being more defensive and waiting for him to make a move? You know, it's generally like you're behind the power curve, just like in the border crossing scene. They're like, all right, get out. And now they caught them off guard. So I think proactive actions in general are going to be better, because you're making them do stuff based off of what you're doing. And, you know, just like he said, you know, it's like, yeah, whatever. If something else happens, then groovy, you know, it's like you are causing the change. You are the one moving the water, you know?
Yeah. In effect, it's, I mean, a concept that I'm sure all three of us are very familiar with for many years now, in the idea of an OODA loop and like, if you get into theirs faster that they can get into yours, that's the game, right? Fighter pilots figured that out in the 1960s. Like, hey, if I can make a turn that then makes him make a turn, I've already won. You know, like that's essentially what they do. But yeah, and like that multiplies, because that's from everything down on like the individual tactical scale to the overall strategic scale, which is like, oh man, you know, it's kind of like you. But this is also kind of fantasy, because you're watching this movie and you're like, oh, I wish I could affect change on all the things in my life that I want to make happen. But like, you know, we're normal people. We don't necessarily like, you know, preemptively strike things. But it makes you think of like, what can I do on a strategic level to start making moves so that it improves my position instead of just waiting for shit to happen.
Right.
That was one of my biggest takeaways from the whole movie, is like, you know, just following that mindset is like, num, 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 num. I like it.
Now, next note I had was when you're in the dark, you're probably being used. So it's like they're not really letting her in on information until that scene when they're questioning all the people who crossed and
At the bus stop. Yep.
yeah, and he's like, all right, wait, whoa. It's kind of funny. He like totally gaslights them. He's like, ooh, seems serious, guys. You know, and he's such a dick about it. And I'm like, man, I haven't like ever experienced something to that level, but I've definitely experienced like being used before, where it's like I can relate to what's going on there somewhat, you know. But that's a thing where, you know, I've had people where like my wife was like, I don't like that guy. I'm talking about Gary, you know, and just kidding. But no, I've had people where like my wife was like, I don't like that guy. And I'm like, what? That dude's fine, you know, he's just weird, you know. And she's like, and later, like it was like, no, that dude's a piece of shit. He is using everyone around him to his own benefit, and also he's a Fed, you know, like, like so. I can appreciate that where they're not being let in on everything, and it's because they're using her. And I think that's an important lesson from the movie, that if you're not in the plan, if you're not being shown everything, it's probably because they're just using you. That's probably the reason.
I mean, even if you're in on the plan, you might be being used.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the lesson there is if you're in the dark, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There is certainly a reason that they're keeping you in the dark, which goes back to originally something I mentioned with the we need to find a domestic Fed to sign off on all this. You wouldn't have to use someone.
Yeah,
they will probably have a Rolodex and go, oh yeah, I'll call my friend Jim. He'll come sign off on it because we've done stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
Like they wouldn't have had to, pick the random pretty girl, but then of course it'd have been some other, ugly ass dude, and we need some pretty girl to be in the movie because it's a movie.
Yeah, and Emily Blunt, she's a looker, but for a second though, I would love to chat because this happens earlier in the movie, like scene 2 when you meet Matt Graver the first time, right after the house blows up or the backyard blows up. They go into the FBI office or whatever.
Yep.
And that's the selection, right? That's what you're talking about. Like, who should we bring into this thing? And they have 2 choices in front of them. They have Kate and they have Reggie. And like, I love the line on that Graver has, and then he's like, oh, well, who's Reggie? Oh, he's newer, he's Iraq war vet. So it's like he's stacking the deck, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, and he went to law school in Georgia or something like that. He goes, nope, no lawyers on this train. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting movie at this point. And I always found it funny because at the end, throughout the movie, I kind of feel like, man, I think they probably would have been better off going with Reggie, because like he seems like he's not combative. He's resistant to things, but nowhere near as resistant as Kate is. And like when it came time to, hey, we're gonna assault stuff and do the like, we're gonna affect change through kinetic means, he's all in it. Like he's running and gunning because he's a vet, right? He's been through this type of stuff before. Whereas like they picked the girl who was just like, and it's nothing to say about girls, but they picked the person that was like totally resistant and like not in a mindset whatsoever to be in this role of being the domestic Fed that they have to attach for sign off. Like it's just, and they, who knows if that would have even changed if they read her in at the beginning, like, hey, we need you to do this so that we can do this thing. And she'd be like, I'm not doing that. Okay. Well, it's good we got this out of the way first. Why don't we just go to somebody else? Like, it's crazy to me that they didn't like just present it to her.
Like, for instance, if you're going to have a couple of Feds, I don't know, break into a hotel and bug the room so that you can see what the other political party is doing, well, all we have the choice is the girl or the lawyer. or anybody else with a badge.
Yeah.
Well, I would also say if you're choosing between those two, it's probably easier to get a dude to go along with stuff like in that situation. If the cool guys, the black ops guys are just like, bro, you're gonna be so badass doing this, it'd probably pump up his ego enough to be like, dude, I am fucking cool right now. And they're like, bro, you want to like not, you want to just not wear a shirt and just wear body armor like fucking Animal Mother, like I know, like when I was 18, I would be like, fuck yeah, that's so awesome,
Well, you could use the same thing I use to market people to come to classes. I say, hey, how much shooting have you done under nods?
Dude, you want to shoot people under nods?
I don't shoot enough under nods. Well, come with us and we'll do that.
Yep. Yeah, like those Delta guys, so I also found this interesting because they had a whole plethora of people they probably could have put into that role in the movie. Like that scene where they're briefing the Mexico move. And like I counted the agencies in that scene. They had like Texas Rangers or US Marshals, DEA, Delta operators, FBI, CIA. Like it was the plethora of alphabet soup agencies, right? They couldn't find somebody. It like that was exposed to how they do all this stuff in one of those other domestic agencies. Like they're in the room. It kind of breaks the movie. I'm like, I'm not even gonna worry about that because I get it. You need her. You just need her, and it's what makes the movie compelling. Or else it would just be like people acting professionally and then like fucking shit up throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Next point I have is dirty cop. Normal people will work for bad guys to provide. More people than you know are on the other side. So this is talking about where they go to the bar, and then Walking Dead guy who is Ted, played by John Barenthal, takes her home, and or it goes back to her apartment, start getting dirty, and then she's like, sees the thing, and it's like, oh no, he's a bad guy. But yeah, there are everyday people who are bad guys, who are on the opposition, and a big part of that is it's like his story was just like, man, I fucking, did the wrong thing. I'm in over my head. His story was like something very plausible where it's like, yeah, he fucked up. He is needed money. And, think about like how many people are in mountains of debt right now. And they're like, hey man, just do this thing that's illegal and you'll clear your debt. That's one of the reasons why when you get a higher level of security clearance, they look at your credit score. Because if you have a shit credit score, man, you can be manipulated with that,
Yep.
And like one thing too that I thought about is having conversations with people who just don't understand the fact that there are fucking dirty cops in America, and I'm just like, dude, you know how easy it would be to get someone to do the wrong thing? It's the question is, what's your number? Yep. How much money does it take to get you to do the wrong thing? And if that's not the question, it's showing a picture of your kid at a place and showing that we're watching the people who are important to you. One of those two things can easily sway a person.
And he wasn't even that bad. He didn't go there to kill her or even harm her. He went there, according to Alejandro, to find out what she knew. So he was just running like a counterintelligence. Like, oh, they're gathering they have information on us. I'm gonna go find out what the information is. Hey, go sweep her off her feet, get in her pants, get close enough that you can get her to spill the beans. Because if they wanted her dead, they wouldn't have had to hire a dirty cop to do it. They'd what Andrew call him, a dirty Mexican. They'd have got a dirty Mexican to do it.
Dirty Mexican cop. Okay.
Yeah. But they would have gave him like 50 grand. They'd have given a kid $300.
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, whack this chick when she comes out of her apartment."
Yeah.
Because, and this is the scary part about cartels and any organization with that much money and no moral guidance. Like, not to say that, like, you know, something as big as the US government has morals, but they have, like, the collective of the nation has like a moral obligation. Like, they have to adhere to some level of morality. A cartel does not. So, like, when you were talking about before of like, oh well, they just have to show them either a stack of cash or a threat to their family. They don't even have to throw them the threat to the family, because they'll waive the cash, and if they go, oh no, that's okay, like, they're just dead. Like, they could just they have no scruples, and they have enough power that on a small scale, like, meaning individual people, they can affect whatever change that they choose to change. That's scary about it. And the fact that they work so intelligently to collect intelligence, like, you know, that stuff is happening. Like, you know that they've got moles in federal agencies, they've got moles in local agencies, in, you know, border crossings, whatever it is, you name it, because it's a small moral step to accept money for information. When I'm not doing anything. I'm not affecting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just telling them when, like, the guard crossing or the guard shift changes. I'm just telling them who's on shift.
I might be protecting people from getting hurt, because if I tell them when it's safe, then nobody gets hurt.
Right.
Like,
and you can
could
justify that
rationalize
any way
that.
you want to.
Yeah.
That to me is like the scary thing about the reality of cartels and these types of, like, you know, organizations. It's like, they can get to you. And Ted, I think, is a perfect example. Like, he was the perfect vehicle for this, aside from the fact that John Barenthal overacted the hell out of that role, because he had the thickest Texas twang accent you could possibly imagine. Like, it was just like, damn, dude, like, that, are you sure? Like, that almost seemed comical. I don't know if you guys felt that way.
My note says they needed someone to play as a bad actor, so they hired a bad actor.
He's still over the top with his Texas accent, but, like,
Do you remember that time he acted well?
I like him as the Punisher, but
He was
no. That's the
Thomas
only
Jane-
scene I know.
yeah, like, but he's not terrible, but
To me, his accent wasn't that bad because of the freaking goofball Texans I served with in the Marine Corps. like, I love telling stories of my Texas friends because I get to do their voice.
yeah.
You know, like, I wanted to fight you. And that story I'd have to tell, not on the internet.
But, like, something I missed the first time I saw that movie, because I remember Ted and I remember her getting messed up, and I was like, oh, she totally gets attacked by some dude hired by the cartel. He's introduced, like, he knows Reggie, and Reggie brings him over to the table and says, oh, hey, have you met Ted? Like, and, you know, basically hooks them up. He plays matchmaker for them, and it's like, how do you? Of course you're gonna get screwed. Like that's, you got your own partner complicit in, like, bringing this guy in. Like, it was, she was set up to fail. Like, it was like a perfect plant, honestly.
Yeah, and I think people should audit their friends frequently, and just, like, take a look, think about your values and things that you're not okay with, and just go, all right, like, let's just make this a little bit smaller. These are the people I trust. You know, these are the people I'm acquaintances with. You know, people I know, but not people I bring over, not people I tell stuff to. I think that is a important thing to do. What happens to paranoid people?
Nothing.
And like, I've taken certain steps in my life. One of the things too is we're not letting our kids do sleepovers. Like, just not gonna happen, and that sucks in a way, because I remember having a lot of sleepovers when I was a kid that were great, but I'd rather be paranoid than have anything bad happen.
Yeah, I can't fault you there.
Everyone's got to have their own line, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, next note I had is from the same scene with the dirty cop, the dirty Texan cop. Dirty Texans. My note was be good at not getting choked to death.
True. Yeah.
Because she wasn't good at it. And had Alejandro not been stalking her and using her as bait, then she would be fucking dead.
Yeah.
So
or she could have just slept with him and pretended like she didn't realize he was a bad guy. And I know that sounds a little, people will be like, wait, what? Man, there's a lot of bad dudes out there that get a lot of pussy. So there ain't no way that women don't sleep with people they know are bad guys.
Yeah.
So that was the other option. She didn't have to fight him. It's kind of in jest, everyone, before you get all fired up.
Well, I think she did, like, the reaction to seeing the wristband, that was wrong. Like, not wrong, like, oh, like, hey, you need to make a decision about what's going on in your life right now, but she freaked. Like, she
panic mode.
Yeah, pure panic. As soon as she saw it, she's like, oh my God, we need to stop. She couldn't come up with a cover. She couldn't come up with a reason. She couldn't be like, oh my God, I need to go to the bathroom and take a shit. Like,
I gotta dump.
Let me go air out before we get any further. Like, you come up with something, right? Instead, she goes, wait, you? And then she looks at the thing and looks at, like, target glances all to hell. And then, like, I think that's a good mindset too. Like, if you are going to make a decision in a thing, stay cool and, and like, learn to be not like false about who you are, but like, don't telegraph everything. You can get pretty far by just like, all right, well, cool. Like, the things they probably teach you in fucking spy school and stuff of like, well, you don't have to say everything that's in your head right now. Like, keep that shit inside, stay calm and cool. Like, she could have easily gotten herself out of that situation before it got worse.
Yeah.
And also she probably wouldn't have been in this situation had she just listened to Matt and not ran in the bank and been like, we're going to arrest him for doing illegal stuff. He's like, that's not the plan. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
You're not going to be able to charge him.
Yeah. Yeah. And when he says, don't do that, be like, you could at least be like, can you explain to me? Am I in danger? Like, I don't know. I feel like there could have been a question there.
Well,
instead of being like, I know better than you.
Yeah.
I'm good at this.
Her before, we want him to get recalled to Mexico. We do not want him arrested. We're never going to arrest this man. We're going to follow him in Mexico, and then Alejandro is going to kill him once they find the big boss.
Yeah. I love the moments where things resolve in that movie where he just keeps like basically slapping her in the face with like, I fucking told you so. Like, she's like, you used me as bait. You used yourself as bait. Like, it was like that moment was like, yeah, you did. He told you don't go on. Like, he didn't take the time to go, listen, I need you to not go into the bank so that you don't get caught on camera, so they don't know who's performing the investigation, so that you don't fight. Like, it's like, I don't need to explain everything. Just trust the guy who's the one that looks like he's in charge.
Like, which is so funny to me personally, because like a thing, I love my girls. I will also say between my wife, my older daughter, and my younger daughter, they want explanations for shit I have already thought of and scenarioed in my head way too often. Yeah, where you're like, where I'm like, set the table, put fork, knife, and spoon on there for everyone. And then they're like, but why do we need a spoon? I'm like, God, I don't want to just do the thing, you know? And it's like, there is a plan in place. If you trust me, I don't want to have to go, you know, put these things here and then put the spoons here because there's sauces involved today. And we're going to need this number, you know, like, it's like, I've thought of this stuff, you know? It was like the other day with my older daughter, I was like, put on your shoes. And then later it was, put on your shoes, you know, your mud boots as we're doing duck stuff. And then it was, what time are we leaving? I'm like, God damn it, you don't have your fucking boots on yet, you know? So that's also, I think two Marshall notes on that. It's a joke, but also it's totally true. We should all, like, I think a responsibility that I've not been doing. Okay, I have not been doing, but I think a responsibility of men who have women in their lives is to have proper footwear in every vehicle for the women, because if there is an emergency, they'll be wearing the stupidest shoes possible. Like, I promise you that's going to happen. Yeah. Like, you should have just $10 tennis shoes in every fucking vehicle in their size all the time.
You're not wrong.
And then I forget the other one, but yeah, that's one big one. And also just expect that they're gonna want more explanation. They want to know all the stuff.
You want to know my so in that scene we're talking about, one of my last notes about Ted, fear the atomic noogie, or the atomic wet willy. Like, did you catch that in the scene where he's being interrogated in the back seat after Alejandro?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like giving him lip. He's like, okay. And like Graver's like, I don't need okays. I need answers. And like Alejandro like licks his finger and like jams it so far into his ear that I'm like, oh, that's not even a wet willy. That's a wet William. Like, you just get the whole thing.
Bro, if you pulled out a Q-tip when you were interrogating me, I would instantly shit myself. Like, you ever put one of those in just a little too far, and it's like literally like, dude, I should just kill myself right now. This is so bad.
Oh yeah, he went
I had blood on it last time I did that, like a couple weeks ago. It's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, that was that's like, you know, because you think he's gonna kill him, and then the next scene he's like in the back of the squad car or the car or whatever, and you're like, okay.
And also on that note, don't expect government authorities, to not do shit like that.
Yeah,
like they do shit like that. You know,
yeah, he had a line. Hey, you know what? You know what the best thing about this, Ted? This is, Ted, you're already messed up. They're not going to notice a few more scratches. Like, yeah. I bet you that conversation happens every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and something else, you know, they have Alejandro does not work for the U.S. government. He's not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
So there's the whole, well, we didn't harm that guy. Like, we didn't interrogate anybody. In fact, in the beginning, they didn't interrogate anyone. Alejandro interrogated them in their facility.
Right.
And like, Alejandro knew, like, up front, like, he was a lawyer. He knows what's legal. He said, I don't care who knows what I'm about to do. I'm not hiding from this. You have crossed my line in the sand, and I will now play by big boy rules and accept whatever penalty happens next. Kind of like Gary, how do you pronounce the name? Plauche? Plauche, is that how you pronounce it? There's a thing over the E, so I never knew what the little fleck thing over the E meant. He said, "Oh, you've harmed someone I care about. I'm going to harm you, and I understand that there are penalties for that, and I am willing to take them." That's you know, the big boy rules that we talk about. Alejandro was all for them.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I will write off the rest of my life. I'm not trying to go back to when this is over. I don't want revenge and then go find me a new wife and have another kid and pretend like it never happened.
Yeah.
He believed in his cause.
And I think that's a good note too for a martial lesson, is like, be careful. You know, especially like who may get harmed, and then who will get held responsible. Like the ripple effects of consequences. You know, because the head bad guy in that movie definitely fucking regretted doing anything to Alejandro.
Yep.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be that direct. You know, think about what someone, dude, you know, I think it would be very, man. Okay, I'll say that. I cannot stand it when people drive recklessly on the road when my family is in the car. When it's just me, I'm not nearly as bothered. But when my family is in the car and they do something stupid with their car around me, that highly irritates me, because it's not, you know, just putting me at risk. It's putting my fucking kids at risk. And I can definitely see going to a very dark place at even something that's not directed, you know, not something intended to harm, but if it did harm, you know, like, oh, you felt like being a shitty driver today. You felt like being selfish today and getting your spot in this lane because you're impatient, and that caused this other thing to happen. You know, like,
And if you get out of machete, you're like, and these are the consequences for that.
yeah, dude, that is, and please, people, stop being, you know, so fucking selfish on the road. Why? You're not that fucking important.
Because
everyone driving like a retard.
They like playing in single player mode.
Oh my god, yeah, exactly. Fucking main characters everywhere. All right.
So this kind of ties into where I had my last note about the end of the movie. Alejandro, he meets the antagonist, and he says, "Hey, you know, I'm gonna kill you because that's what's warranted for what you did." And he goes all the way to ending the bloodline of the antagonist
in front of him.
Which, if you're going to do that, like, that is the best order to do it in. Like, you know, it would not make any sense to kill him, and then as the kids and the wife went, "Oh my God," then shoot them. Now you're shooting them because they're making too much noise and you don't want to get caught. By doing it in the beginning, he's saying this is the consequence, and whatever I suffer from this, it's okay. You know, if the federales roll in here and go, "Hey, we're gonna put you to the gallows because you killed a woman and a kid," the other thing we're cool with, but the woman and the kid we have to hang you for. The way his character was written, he would just walk to the gallows head high, like, "Yeah, I did that. That needed to be done, and it's done." That's I have to suffer the consequences of what needed to happen. So be it. To me, that's no different than, you know, the who was the guy from the Cosby Show that drowned trying to save the kid last year? Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Oh, he died trying to save somebody?
Yeah, he was. I want to say it was his own child was drowning, and he drowned saving the kid. And people go, "Oh yeah, I die. You know, if you said I would gladly give my life to protect my child's life," and he said, "I will give my life to avenge my child's life." And I'm like, I don't see an issue with that. Like everything he did, the fact that he didn't hide from it made his character unique in a very good way.
Yeah, I like his character, and don't get me wrong, I appreciate and I enjoy the choices made, like entertainment wise, for the movie. It does shake my moral core in the idea of hurting a child, because, you know, in my moral compass, children are innocent and they are victims of the adults around them, right? So because he makes that choice, he is evil. But everyone's evil in some way, shape, or form. So you can't take this approach of like, well, that thing made him evil and this other thing made it, like, no, they're all like, it's all just a game of evils. Like everyone's trying to jockey and kill each other. You know, the chances of that kid growing up and then inheriting a cartel or dying from some other violent means as being part of a cartel, like it's all, you look at the kind of end result of all of it, and it's all sucky. It just, you know, so like, but the choice, while I understand it, and it's a brave choice, I guess, like I'm willing to accept whatever consequences come from this, it's still evil. Like he you know, he exemplifies the amoral character in this whole journey of like, it doesn't matter what the choices are, whether or not they're moral, good, bad, immoral, whatever, ethics. He's like, that went out the window a long time ago.
Well,
Like,
I think
when my family was killed, none of that made a difference anymore.
Yep.
I think it's also important, like a good lesson from this movie, to recognize that character and how he came to be, and to think about yourself and the consequences of having that same reaction, right? So if like you look at that character and you're like, I'm totally good with being that guy if that thing happened. Or if you look at that character and you go, I understand him, however, I'm not okay with being that guy if that thing happened. I think it's important to recognize that now, because you know, like I said, it could be just an asshole driver or someone who's not an asshole driver, but they happen to do something dumb, like text on their phone, and that kills your kid in a car accident. The consequence of that action causes you to do something, and then consequences of that, and then how does that go, right? So it's kind of like back to line in the sand, back to who are your priorities and what consequences are you willing to accept, you know, and thinking about that when you are sober minded and you're not in that position, instead of facing that decision and what are you going to do when the thing does happen to you, and getting more clear on those things beforehand.
I think there's more people going around in life looking for an excuse to be that guy.
Sure.
Than there are people who recognize it and go, I hope I never become that guy. You know what I mean?
Well, I wouldn't say there's more. I don't think necessarily
more than we'd be comfortable with, but
no, I don't know, because like honestly, it's like when I see a story of you know, like the dude who threw the chair at the judge, or you know, Gary Plausch, or you know, like that's normally the outlier in my opinion. Where I see a lot of other stories where I'm like, how's the dad not do something? You know?
Yeah, I see way more
for myself. For myself, yeah. I'm like, I'm more like shocked that there's less of it. But I think that's also in the sense of, you know, how many motherfuckers even carry a gun? You know, how many people even take it that seriously? You know, where they're just like, I'm just gonna have a thing on me in case I need a thing. I think a lot of people they don't take violence seriously, and then something horrible happens to someone they care about, and now this is their first time taking violence seriously. However, they're in the moment too. It's like I used to have a neighbor. She had people who broke into her house and bound her hands and her kids' hands. As far as she told me, nothing bad happened to them. They just got robbed. Thank God. However, you know, this was a conversation coming off of her finding out what I do and talking about classes and stuff. And she was like, yeah, I have a revolver, but I'm not good at shooting it. It's at my house, you know? And it's like, Hey, lady, what the fuck do you need to take violence seriously? Did you need them to do something to you when you were tied up, or to your kids? Did you not like? I mean, you bought a gun, okay, but like, that's it. That you're just, because that's another part of it. People are different. Everyone's different.
Some people will never get there. That's,
Sure.
I mean, unfortunately, like that's the one thing I've kind of come to terms with in this industry, is that as much as we can tell them and we can show them the way, there are some people that will go straight to the grave before ever considering like owning the moment and trying to affect, and save their own life. Like, because they don't want to.
Well, in the modern mindset seems to be more of the you are a better person if you allow yourself to be the victim. The more things you're a victim of, the better a human being you are.
It's very true.
That's like a cancer that has got into Western minds. So there's this altruistic. Well, if I allow myself to be the victim, I get extra victimhood. So that'll make me a better person.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, on Alejandro killing the head bad guy, who the name of the dude was Fausto
Alcon.
The way up there, man. Oh, he did some great scrote bag tactics. Oh, and it's like, if you haven't seen Way of the Gun, which is another one we should do an episode on, Way of the Gun has, I think, the best scrote bag tactics out of any movie I've seen.
Also, Benicio del Toro.
Yep. Yeah. And that's why I'm referencing Way of the Gun. But yeah, Benicio del Toro, once again, doing some awesome scrote bag tactics. So first off, takes the cop. Oh man, even before that, when he does take the cop, the chick comes in.
Oh, he shoots.
It was like freeze, and he just fucking hip shots right to the plates, which is dope. I think that's something. Everyone's so against point shooting, but it's also like, I think in that context, that was
Uh-oh. He froze in like the Uncle Sam I want you pose.
Well, while he's frozen.
All right, we're back.
He's back.
All right. So
I was just going to announce a sale on bump bags, so it's a good thing that you
I don't even know if they're on the website right now.
I don't think they are.
Buy one, get two free is what I was going to tell people.
But I think, like point shooting, everyone nowadays, a lot of people are like, never do that. And I'm like, I don't know. Fucking contact shots is point shooting. It's like, what does even point shooting mean? Anyways, I think in that scene.
Just to throw that out there, the very first thing I teach in 0 point day zero pistol is point shooting.
Cool. I'd love to see how you do that. I'd love to see the way you teach that, because that's another thing is a lot of people don't even know what it means. And I've even seen people basically not quite use all the words, but say that pointing your finger along a gun is how you aim it.
It's not a huge block, but it's something to use as a reference point for further learnings, because everyone knows how to do that already. Like,
right.
So I use it as a point for people just to know like what you're capable of when you come into a class. You're capable of doing this right now.
That's cool. I'd like to see how you do that.
Well, there's a day zero pistol coming up in
June in Brookville, Pennsylvania. You should come up for it, Andrew.
No,
day zero pistol and rifle
in July. Oh, but I can see.
Well,
what's the date on that class?
I can bring it down to Florida.
I would prefer that. Do that. You travel, not me. I'll be there in July. And while we're shouting that out. Yep, July, I believe 17th and 18th. It's on both of our websites on the calendar for all of our websites on the calendar.
Including
is
BulletN.net.
Force on Force class by Combat Art Training and Tremis Dynamics, and I am sure Mike will be there as well. And then
Point shooting some motherfuckers in the face, probably.
Point shooting and suicide vests.
That sounds like the name of a good podcast.
But it'll be force on force skills, some scenario type stuff. It's going to be a blend of our force on force classes, basically highlights and the really cool parts. Yep. And then we'll be in Texas in November. So those are the dates are on our calendars. The links are to our websites are in the description. But anyways, so the dude point shoots from the hip and nails a shot. And this is where guys commonly say, like, no, you're going to have sights. You never do that. No, there's a time and place for it. And if you practice things, you get good at things. I would say the distance he did it at, if he could actually nail that shot, then wow, that dude must have practiced a lot, because it's a very perishable skill.
What gets me is like his background is he was a lawyer.
Yeah.
And he is obviously the most skilled gun handler in the movie. And you're like, when did that happen? Like, I'm not discounting that it could happen.
Right.
But when did that happen? Like, was he a fucking gunslinger before law school, or did that happen afterwards? And if it was afterwards, where did he get his training? Like, it was I mean, he's down in Texas, so maybe it was with Sonny. I don't know.
I like to think of him as a guy that's like us. Like, he was a professional, he had a job and a family, but he was super capable. Like, that's what all of us can be. Like, really, at the end of the day, it's what we all train for, is to be a more capable person. He just got pushed over the edge. Like, that's really, and just like we said, like, how many people do we know that are better gun handlers than people who do it professionally as like a secondary part of a job? Well, we dedicate our lives to it,
And I like to imagine that he was never gay about downrange drills. He was probably like, all right, I'll do that.
The ultimate downrange drill is shooting the person that you don't want to kill in the chest while they're wearing body armor.
That's the pinnacle of downrange drills right there.
You could tell that he's like, no, if she took it
from the hip,
get in the noggin from that shot or in the hip and she died, he would have been 100% okay with it. Like,
he was probably trying to kill her, honestly.
Don't ever point a gun at me. Like, that was just literally, I was like, damn, it's fucking cold. I love it's such a good character. It's like an absolute force is Alejandro.
He only said that because Josh Brolin wasn't there to say it.
Yeah, to say something fucking cool.
Well, there was that moment. And then, of course, making the cop drive him, the dirty cop who was a Mexican cop. I'll say it that way so Gary doesn't quote me again. Which, by the way, is my highlight of this episode. I'm going to be laughing at that the rest of the day. Or how did Andrew say it again? Another line in the sand moment. They pull over the dude trying to get to the place, right? And trying to get to the head bad guy's place. And like, the cop was so weird about everything, and the situation was so weird for the dude they pulled over, that at some point he should have been like, I gotta do something else, because going along with this is not working well.
I'm surprised he stopped.
Well, I think what it was, so he's a big wig in the cartel. Cop pulls him over. All right, I just have to tell this guy who I am, and he'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. whatever his name is. Carry on about your business. I was just going to shake you down. I didn't realize who you worked for.
Right.
But now, Alejandro did that because it was the only way that guy was going to stop the car and think that it was inadvertent and not malicious. Oh, traffic stop. I got to, show him my face and he'll let me out. So like he puppet mastered that really well. And I can see that guy like, get out of the car. Fuck, dude. Like, once you see who I am, this will all go away.
Sure.
So like I could follow along with the line of reasoning. I mean, that's pretty forward thinking of Alejandro to go, this is how this will play out, and getting it to play out that way. I totally appreciated that after he was done with the cop, that he shot him. Because he said, this guy is dirty and he just did something that would get him killed by the cartel for helping me. There's nothing stopping him from going to try to save his skin by ratting me out in 7 seconds once I leave him. And at the end of the day, that the prime directive for Alejandro was, I am going to avenge my family. Everybody that gets in the way of that is a bad guy. And this dude could easily, like, he shows a propensity to, get in my way. So I'm just going to schwack him. Like I found a dirty cop so that I can schwack him later and feel good about it.
You can see the crescendo leading up to the boss, right? Like, he shoots Kate. Didn't mean to kill her, but that's still kind of wrong. Kills the cop. It's like, and they do a pretty long job in that movie of making it seem like that guy's not that terrible a person. Like, he's a guy who has a son who likes to play football, and he likes his eggs and beans in the morning. Like, that's your whole impression. And he likes a little bit of like tequila in his coffee, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what Ashley said too. She's like, but he wasn't that bad of a guy. I'm like, babe, he's helping the cartel. Like, and also that dude does not give a fuck if he's not that bad of a guy.
But he represents the average. He represents the average person. Like, everybody is in the pocket of the cartel, right? Like, that's the assumption. So he shoots Kate. He shoots that guy. He manipulates the guy from the U.S. who drives into Mexico, takes him in, and then just starts schwacking dudes left and right.
He schwacked that dude. Once you got me in the gate, I don't need you anymore.
Yeah, slices his neck, lets him drive forward. And
I got a note on that one. Transition drills.
I cut your penis off?
No.
The other kind.
No, the less dynamic version. No, because like he lets the dude go forward, and as the three guys come up, they're like, what the heck? And then crack, 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 right? It's like, and fucking, if you've played a video game, like that moment, you gotta get them all real quick, right? It's not a moment you really experience in Force on Force, but it's like, if you were to do a thing like that, or an ambush type thing, and you don't have like, hey, you take the guy on the left, you take the next guy, blah, blah, blah. You can't plan it out like that. It's just fucking you.
What do you're telling me that an El Presidente drill isn't tactically sound?
Brain shots are better. We all agree on that. And I think that's what he did.
But no, like, an El Prez is like three targets next to each other, right? And then everyone uses that as the gold standard of like the ability to transition between people.
I don't do that drill. I practice just transitioning targets. I don't do that one drill. I don't remember how it works.
I just remember it because in Gary's classes we do an El Prez versus an El Prez, like dudes versus dudes, like with airsoft. Is that the one we did?
We've done it, yeah.
Yeah,
I want to do a video of it with everybody wearing like white and using sim rounds so you can see how many people get hit. Just never made the video.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just to say that, like, the way most people think of transition drills is like, it's so static. It's not. It's not reality. But when you're the aggressor in that particular instance, sure, like
or fucking ambushing dudes, coming up on your area.
Yeah, he came out of the darkness and slayed him.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like the better skills you have allows you to use different tactics. It's like those things play into each other a whole really lot. So him, being skilled at shooting allowed him to use better, Black Ops scrote bag type tactics to get in there. / Splinter Cell type guy,
Yes.
Now, I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off at your last point to talk about that part. Do you remember the thing you're saying? No?
Yeah.
No, we could just move on. We're so close to the end of the movie. I do have a question for you guys, though, once we get to the end as like a recap question.
Man, I mean, we've kind of covered the end. He sits there and he talks them through, and I think that's also another like line in the sand moment. Like, probably would have been better to do something than to wait for this guy. He's like, hey, maybe this guy's not about to fucking kill my wife and kids and me. The head bad guy probably should have done something.
Well, you know what?
I would have had a better chance than not doing anything.
That guy probably is like most. I hate to use the word elite, but people that feel that they're the elites of our society. Oh, I have someone do that for me. Like I have a guy who takes care of that for me.
Where are the 6 guys that also live here with guns?
Yeah, like he's probably wondering where the fuck they're at. Like I just got to delay this guy. Those other dudes are about to show up. I hope. That's my guess is that he was, I had the maid do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was waiting on the maid to come take care of that for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time he realized, oh, I'm on my own, he was way past the fucking curve of being able to do much. I'm pretty sure he knew that he stood no chance of whatever words he used next of helping himself. Because, rich people tend to think, oh, I can just say the right thing and wave the right amount of money, offer the right stuff, and my problem goes away. I think when Alejandro was like, bam, bam, well, your family's dead. Like that guy realized, oh, I stand no chance of surviving this evening. It's just a matter of how painful it will be between now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which I really think he should have shot him in the dick first. Like somewhere where it's going to be excruciating, both physically and emotionally. And you'll survive for some amount of time before you bleed out. In a lot of movies, I'm like, oh, why doesn't he just put that 12 gauge right in his crotch? I mean, he's still going to get
stupid. I liked Alejandro until that part.
And then he bitched out and just shot him in the face.
Like
I think that a lot of movies when they're like, what are you going to do? Kill me? How about I maim you first? And I'll make you want me to kill you. Like I always wait for the character to do that. And I guess that's crossing the line that they'll think the audience is cool with.
I have a student who got held up at gunpoint, I think in Jacksonville. And the guy, I forget what the words were. I wish he was here to tell the story. But basically, the guy pointed the gun at his dick, and he grabbed the barrel and brought it back to his head. He told me that. I'm like, that's so funny. I get that. I'm like, I get it. He's like, but yeah, conclusion, I guess, a great fucking movie. Everyone should watch it. Talk to Aaron Little, and I was suggesting he come on to do Sicario 2 with us. He has not seen this movie, so everyone should shame Aaron Little for not seeing this movie. Also, everyone should assume Joey Glover has not seen this movie and shame him for it as well, because he's seen a bunch of anime, but not Sicario, most likely. Therefore, shame Joey Glover.
Oh. Maybe I'll just burn it to DVD and give it to them when he's up here in July.
Should.
Or May. When are they coming up, Mike?
May. Both actually. So Tactical Response is coming up May 14th through 17th, and then Aaron will be up the last weekend in May.
All right. Well, with Aaron, maybe
Joey owns the movie now. It's in the team room. You can just go watch it right now.
It's hard to find stuff in that.
He's just lazy.
Well, I do have one question for you. As kind of like a recap for it, because like we talked about a bunch of characters, right? Like you've got Kate, you've got Reggie, you've got Matt Graver, you've got Alejandro, and a host of others. Do you have a favorite character from the movie?
Alejandro's the coolest, in my opinion. He's the coolest, but I like Josh Brolin, the actor, a ton. It's just the reason why I wouldn't pick him as my favorite is because Alejandro does the cooler stuff, you know? And it's like, it's also his character is so dark, right? Where it's like Matt or Josh Brolin's character is just doing a sociopath job, in my opinion. That's like, he's just like, yeah, I'm good at doing this thing. And Alejandro is like, I am fucking avenging my family. He's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think from what we see, Alejandro would probably be most people's favorite, including mine. Like, I really liked his character. However, I can't say that a lot of movies, I try to pick a character that I most can relate to, and I can't really relate to Alejandro because I haven't the Gary Marr character has not gone through what the Alejandro character went through, so it's hard to relate to. You know, hey, I'm willing to suffer anything to go avenge my family, because I don't have that on my plate. So relatable. The Burn Notice guy. The dude from Burn Notice with the glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Steve.
Like that dude was the one. Is that what his name was?
Steve Forcing.
I didn't even know he was the dude from Burn Notice for like 7 years.
Yeah.
Someone told me that. I was like, that's not the same dude. And then brought up
is
some clips
such a great show.
I was like, oh, it is the same dude. And they kind of styled him on like Mike Vining, I think is how you pronounce his name, like the Delta Force guy with the fucking birth control glasses, and like that was the vibe they were going for. And like there's a look there. I almost went and got a plaid shirt and shaved down to just a mustache, but I don't have anything in my house that resembles like birth control glasses. So I was like, I'll just look stupid with just the mustache, and no one will know that I'm trying to like vibe off this character.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't go that way, because he is by far my favorite character in the whole movie. Like, every scene he's in, I look at him and go, I want to be him. Not because like he's some super like, slick operator. He is the quintessential guy there to support the team. Like, he's looking around, he's calling stuff out. He's making sure that, like, hey, what are we, we're up to this, we're doing this. He is the support guy for Graver. And like, when I look at that, like, I like that role in life. Like that, like I always want to be the best number 2 guy that I possibly can. And he is the quintessential number 2 guy. Like, he is there for them. And like, even the little banter back and forth between them as they're walking through like the briefing scene, and he's talking about like, I don't know, it's like some subtle joke about like venereal disease or something like that. And you're like, hey, those are the types of jokes I make with my friends. Like, just odd off the wall comments about like, penis or whatever. Like, he's in it, and he's you could tell he's in it for those guys that are there. Doesn't care about anything. Like, he's just, hey, we're here to do this mission. He's a professional. He supports the team. I'm like, that's my favorite guy. That being said, I think Matt Graver is the coolest fucking character ever. And I think he has some really interesting moments in there. Alejandro is, of course, probably one of he is vengeance embodied, and it's really interesting to see that in a character that you don't immediately hate, right? Like, he's almost a nothing burger. Like, he says like 12 words in the whole movie. However, he has one of my favorite lines in the entire movie. So Kate's like losing her shit, and she's like asking all these questions, and she's asking Alejandro things, and she's asking like stuff about like, where are we going? Why are we doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And he just like calmly says to her, like, you're asking me how a watch works.
Yeah.
For now, let's just keep an eye on the time. And I'm like, damn, that is one of the best lines in any movie ever, because and the way he delivers it, it's not condescending. It's literally like, we don't have time to talk and explain everything for you, but I'm helping you understand the most important thing right now. And that is, pay attention to the time. Don't worry about the fucking watch. And it's like, God damn, I wish that's what I want to be like. I wish I could embody ideas that well. So that was my kind of, we hadn't talked about Steve Forsing in this entire episode, this entire podcast. And I'm like, oh, we got to give some love to that guy. Cause like he's so cool. Like he's the coolest by far.
The most memes I saw were about that one character too.
Yes.
And I kind of like think of him as like kind of a Boba Fett character.
Yeah.
In the sense that you don't see him that much. He has a couple things, but yeah, everyone loves that guy.
Yeah. He's the one from that movie. Like, oh, it's the one with the dude with the mustache.
Him sitting in the car looking like, left towards the camera is the most viewed scene from that movie just from memes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Do you want to do Sicario 2 next?
No.
No?
No, we got to get Aaron to watch it.
Okay, so after he watches it?
And we should pick something in the interim while we get Aaron to watch that.
Okay.
I don't know what. Oh, you know what we should do? We won't even mention it here. We'll each throw a name in the hat, and then we'll put like some polls up on our social media.
Oh,
yeah, that's
and get some interaction with some people out there and see what they want. We'll do like 3 of them. Like each one of us put one. We'll do it offline here. I would be the easiest, and then have somebody. We'll put up. Each one of us can do an Instagram poll or a Facebook poll or whatever the fuck you can do polls on. I don't even know anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But,
you guys can comment below too if you got any ideas. Like, do this movie; it's so good.
Yes.
Yes, and it better be fucking good. Don't give us something that's cool like Starship Troopers, where the book's cool and the movie's fucking gay.
No, the movie's great. You're wrong about that. That movie is
terrible.
great. It's a satire movie. It's meant to be terrible. It's made by the motherfucker who made RoboCop. It's like,
also a terrible movie.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hilarious.
It is hard to experience popular culture type stuff with Gary. I'm just gonna throw this out there right now.
Because he's a fucking nerd who reads books and shit. Just watch the movie when you're fucking 7 like I did, you dumbass.
No, because Gary will pick one thing about something, and that will be the defining characteristic of the embodiment of the entire thing, and it will be absolute trash because of that one small part. Nothing else. Like, it should be burned to the ground and buried, and the earth around it should be salted for all time because that guy said something weird in a scene. Like,
none of that's false.
I'm
you're expecting me to argue that.
So we used to, like, when we be in the field, when I was in the Marine Corps, we'd be like quoting movies just to make each other crack up. Like, but we did this tactical small unit leaders course, and we're at the end of it, we're going from mount town to mount town, and we're just doing scenarios, right? With like, you yell bang bang, or you have blanks or whatever, and it's just you're handling situations as if you're in the Middle East. But like, my team was in the back of the patrol, and as we're coming up, I just turned to the guy and be like, let's do it, man. Let's do this whole fucking village. Like, we would quote Platoon and Tropic Thunder and shit like that. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, what could I have been quoting from Starship Troopers that would have made my life better? Because there's so many, like he digs his fingers in the skull and he goes, like, they sucked his brains out. like I thought that movie is hilarious.
You know what to do.
You could say they're scared, and then everyone fires their guns into the air.
Oh, in fact, the dude also was an awesome character in Highlander. He was the bad guy in Highlander.
Oh, Clancy Brown.
Yeah, and he plays Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob. So that also was like bonus points for me because like I watched SpongeBob as a kid and I was like, fucking, that's so cool that's fucking Mr. Krabs, and I only
that's
learned that when I
Zim?
was an adult. Yeah, Instructor Zim.
Yeah, Instructor Zim.
The knife scene. When they throw a knife into his hand, and like the enemy cannot push a button if you disable his hand. Great movie. Great movie.
Sometimes
But-
it's fun to watch terrible movies.
Yeah, it is.
But if we'd like to talk about the mindset aspects of movies, maybe we should pick ones that have some valuable mindset lessons.
Sure. Yeah. The Starship Troopers in it's like, oh, don't join the military because they're just going to send you to a distant planet to get, to fight a war they started with the bugs because they put farmers in the wrong spot. Like not the right movie for that.
Well, that sounds like current events.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's pick some movies on the back end, and we will we'll have our next. What are we calling this? Mindset movies.
Martial movie lessons.
I thought we were calling it MST 3000
Oh yes,
for Mike,
Smersik.
Smersik, and Tremis.
That's
3000.
so unsearchable and a terrible idea to call it that.
Well, you do realize there is a pre-existing MST 3000 where they review movies, right?
No, I did not.
Oh my God,
Mystery Science Theater.
Swine.
What?
Go look up Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, if you said that, I would have recognized it.
MST 3000. I had to figure out how to make us MST, and I was like, yeah, Mike, Smersik, and Tremis, MST.
He really force fit it.
But yeah, whatever we call it, it doesn't matter. It's on Andrew's channel. He really can just put whatever title he wants under the thumbnail,
Yeah.
and we have to go with it.
All right, guys. So thank you guys for watching. Like you said, comment movie ideas. I've got some ideas, and we will do this again soon.
Toodles.
Later.